Last weekend, the boys decided to go out and start working on some of the trails. The spring rains and the regular spring green up has made a significant overgrowth of a lot of the trails. Josh and John and Matt hit the woods armed with pole saws, a chainsaw, and the tractor with the bush hog on the back so that they could start clearing a lot of the trails. One major problem that we have at the bottom of Misery Hill is one of the washout areas of a major gully that comes from the hillside up to the north, runs down towards the creek. The spring rains really provided a lot of gully washes that tended to bring in a lot of debris, as well as move some of the rocks that had served as a base where we crossed over the trail. A lot of the rocks had been washed out, leaving one slab that was prominent that you can note in red that leads into a 1 foot then 2 foot drop off going down towards the creek. Crossing this gully in the side by side was a bit precarious since sliding just a little bit to the downside meant possibly tumbling and rolling a good 15 to 20 feet into the creek. The boys harvested flat rocks from parts of the gully as well as from down by the creek to build up at least a couple feet in that gully to make crossing it a lot safer in the side by side. Josh was tasked with harvesting additional flat rocks so that they would be able to add to the base after adding some concrete mix. He headed uphill since it was going to be a little bit easier to lug the rocks downhill rather than going down to the creek and having to lug them up. John used a very high-tech broom so that he could dust a lot of the concrete bits and powder into the cracks and crevices of the base rock. The directions say to just add water, mix, and then apply the concrete to wherever you need it. Not exactly practical at the bottom of a steep hill to lug a mixer down to the gully to redo it, so better act of valor was to bring the water down and mix it while it was in place. The boys headed off to start clearing more of the trail going towards the west when it became obvious that we needed a lot more concrete mix with the additional layer that we were going to add, and to add stability with the forecast for rain coming later in the week. After a relatively quick trip to Lowe's to get another load of concrete, the boys added another layer of rock and another 800 pounds plus of concrete mix and started to water things to finally bring things to fruition.